want to come to the podium. The Baba Joe of this church, the only builder that can build anything, either on the land or on the sea, even on the space. They know how to manage the quarter of the land. I call on the family of Chief Builder Holu Sokoya. I learned, okay, come to the podium, sir. I don't want to talk much, sir. Let us all turn to page 7.
Praise the Lord. The hymn, How Great Thou Art, had its beginning in 1886. It was written in the home of the author and editor, Carl Boberg, a member of the Swedish Parliament from 1912 to 1931. The song was known in several countries before it finally reached the shores of the United States. Boberg said of the writing of his song, "It was in 1885, and at the time of the year when everything seemed to be in its richest coloring. The birds were singing in trees and wherever they could find a perch. On a particular afternoon, some friends and I had been in Kronoberg, where we had participated in an afternoon service. As we were returning, a thunderstorm began to appear in the horizon. We hurried to shelter. There were loud claps of thunder, and the lightning flashed across the sky. Strong winds swept over the meadows and the billowing fields of grain. However, the storm was soon over, and the clear sky appeared with a beautiful rainbow. After reaching my home, I opened my window towards the sea. The church bells were playing the tune of a hymn. That same evening, I wrote a poem which I titled, O Store God, How Great Thou Art. The poem was later set to a Swedish folk tune in 1907. Manfred von Gleen translated it into German, and 5 years later, a Russian pastor, Ivan Prohanov, made a Russian adaptation. In the early 1920s, the Reverend and Mrs. Stuart K. Hine left their home in England and went to Poland as a missionary. It was there they learned that the Russian version of Boberg's song, O Store God. Hine then wrote original English release and made his own arrangement of the Swedish melody. J. Edwin O. introduced Hine's translation of How Great Thou Art to audiences in the United States. A short time later, in 1957, it began to orbit around the world by way of the Billy Graham's New York City crusade, where it was sung 99 times. In my possession is a prize copy of How Great Thou Art in the Russian language. All four of the men who helped bring us this song, Boberg, the Swedish, von Gleen, the German, Prohanov, the Russian, and Hine, the Englishman, carefully preserved the awesome message I also had in my hand the original letter from Heinz's daughter, Sonia, dated March 16, 1989, which contained the somber news that Stuart Hine had died peacefully in his sleep 2 days before. He was 92 years of age. Thus, in quiet dignity, ended the life of the man who brought How Great Thou Art to the English-speaking world. O Lord, how great are thy works. Psalm 92, verse 5. Kindly join me as we sing the hymn, How Great Thou Art. Wonder, consider all thy works thy hands has made. I see the stars, I see the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe display. Then sing thy soul, my Savior, Lord, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sing my soul,
you so much. The family of Baba Ijo really appreciate you. I think the cathedral here should enroll you back into the choir because I can really feel the baritone. All the pillars of the church were shaking. Thank you so much, sir. As I said the other time, some of our invited guests that has been mentioned earlier on should please come to this row. I can see Mr. Olariwaju Ayotade from Senate Bank PLC. I can see you seated. Mr. Sunday Olaneyi, Engineer Dixon Washiku, Dr. Inofomo Francisca. Please, if you are very much available in the podium, come to the front row here. When we have Baba Ijo of a particular church, there must also be an Iya Ijo. And we cannot separate them, and nothing must go in between them. Therefore, I want every one of us to turn to page 8.